Craig Gordon, that's it. Craig Gordon. This is Hearts standard. This is Hearts standard. I'm Craig Cairns. That's Joe Sked. We're at Dens Park. We've just watched Hearts win 1-0. Played an entire half with 10 men. But the big story, Joe, not just because it was his comeback, but because he executed one of the best saves, arguably, of his career to keep Hearts ahead, is Craig Gordon.
Yeah, it's one of those where when you're discussing Craig Gordon, everyone asks like favourite save. I always go for the David Clarkson one.
That's mine.
05-06, just because the way I was sitting in section E, I was like, I had a perfect view of it. But in the context of this season, in the context of his career, in the context of this game, in the context of the build-up to this game, that is, and I think that tops it. You see and watch it just while we were in the press room and we're just going through social media, and the amount of people sharing the goal. I don't know how many times I've watched it.
Gordon Banks has been mentioned.
Yeah, I've seen a couple of those already of his save against Brazil, and it just gets better and better, and the slow motion off the fact that the ball's behind him. And when we were up there, I'd written it out with 20 minutes to go that Hearts had won, and people have gone, you're mental for doing that, tempted fate. But I was just so comfortable and confident that Hearts would win this game, even going down to 10 men, and just how assured we were, especially when we went to a back five. That's fine, we're just going to head balls. We don't think we're going to concede. And then you always have to, goalkeeper is there, just in case something bad happens. Something bad did happen. Aqua got a head on it, but what a save, honestly.
Did you think it was in? I mean, I thought it was in. Aqua thought it was in. Everybody was spoken to in the press room thought it was in, including like Hearts player managers and stuff.
I was just like, because I was going to have to rewrite a lot.
Yeah.
It's not going to be fun. But Jesus, what a save.
Yeah, it was one of those ones. I'm glad you said it's behind him, because it is one of those ones where he sort of claws it. I think he made one of those saves against Sunderland. He may have made a save for Sunderland, that was better than anything that he made for Hearts. But that save, I think, was similar to that one that's like, it's almost behind them. Remember the Seaman one against Sheffield United as well? That was so much more where he had to dive back.
I was actually thinking of his one against Porteous in the Scottish Cup semi-final where there was no fans. That seemed that seemed like,
racking my brain.
That seemed like more. I think it was more, if my memory serves correct, like a powerful header, and it's just just instinctive, like a getting down instinctive. Whereas that's instinctive, but he's having to go back on himself to claw it away. So it had like the best of both worlds. It was unbelievable. And
the fact that it was in injury time.
Yeah.
Hearts had been backs to the walls the whole second half. That was the plan. The plan was basically, even as soon as Dundee went 2 men up front, Frankie Kent had already been told, as soon as Simon Murray's getting stripped, you get stripped. He came on, Hearts went to a back three, and the plan was just to see it out and then hopefully get something on the break if they could when Kabori comes on. But I don't know about you, Joe, but I thought that first half was as uncomfortable a first 45 minutes as Hearts have had this season. Dundee's 2 wide players were very, very good. Right from the first minute, Yogan puts in a cross that has to be saved. But in the second half, I thought Hearts were relatively comfortable. Now, I know that Dundee huffed and puffed, had a lot of the ball. Hearts had to ride their luck in certain situations. But that was the plan. Hearts went out to sit in and say, right, come at us. We're a man short. You're going to have to break us down. And they did it. That's it,
because you talked about the second half performance being with 10 men, and if you were just to be showing, weren't allowed to count the players or showing the Schroller red card, you would have said the first half was where Hearts had 10 men a disadvantage, because it felt so much more comfortable in the second half compared to the first half, where again it didn't really start too well, and they had the two wingers that Dundee have are really, when they're on it, they're really difficult to play against, because they mix trickery with pace, and they've got a real blend. They can go either side as well. They can go like inside or outside, and it was And then you talk about the context of the build-up to the game. Hearts were lost both left-backs with Harry Milne at the start of the week, then Stephen Kingsley at the end of the week. Jamie McCart has to come in playing left-back for the first time since 2018. First start of the season. He's played most as a centre-back throughout his career.
Celtic and Rangers have both won in the week leading up to it.
Celtic and Rangers, and there's a lot of questions being asked of Hearts, and it wasn't a good performance. Like, first half wasn't a good performance. There's obviously the controversy around the Schwallow red card. Like, Dundee will look at it, the controversy around Hearts' opening goal with the free kick. But it's one of those things. It's one of those games where just things go in Hearts' favour, whether it's a bit of luck or whether it's the match-winning quality of Claudio Braga's strike and Craig Gordon's save.
That's it. There still had to be that bit of quality to get ahead and to get the 3 points, because it's not as if Hearts had loads of chances that you missed. You can't really look back in that game and think, oh well, they could have scored here and they could have scored there. And Braga, seems a bit weird to say it's been an up and down season for him, because the goals he's scored, Hearts are top of the league, but there has been points where it's he's had points where there's been a wee bit of a drop off. And I thought even the performance here, you can see that sometimes his decision making still not there, and it's frustrating. But that goal, that goal was brilliant.
It was a truly excellent finish. Reminded me of kind of like similar to Maswinissi's yesterday at Easter Road, where really just like a kind of arrowed, or just a really good connection with the ball. And I kind of felt, because I was thinking in terms of when we do our instant analysis, I thought Braga would have been a good section because of the inconsistency of his performances. He's not been, trying to think when the last time he scored a goal. He's not scored too many.
He got back-to-back goals recently, but there was a wee bit of a drought before that.
A wee bit of a drought, and then he comes up with that big moment. But that's a big thing about Hearts, is you go throughout the season, if one player has a lull, then if usually look at it, if Shanklin has a lull, then Braga, Kazarides step up. Kazarides has a lull, Shanklin and Braga stepping up. If Braga's at Shanklin and Kazarides, so the three of them have been absolutely brilliant in terms of coming up with those big moments and big performances when Hearts have needed them. Because again, Hearts deserve to be where they are. Like,
it's luck, mate. It's all luck.
There's not been any luck to it. It's not as if it's been over performance. If you look at the metric, it's like, oh, they're going to come back to the mean. Hearts are exactly where they belong to be, but the performances haven't been scintillating.
No.
I just think there's been a real professionalism, assuredness. Just you see it with the teamwork, the work ethic off the ball. Everything's been done to really high standards, and they're getting the rewards for those foundations that have been put in place all season. And they're just a really difficult team to beat, and the mentality aspect of it as well. Going down to 10 men, it's I reckon in that dressing room they would have kind of loved it. It's perfect. We're up against it, backs against the wall, and rather than kind of go into their shell, they thrive in those situations.
It probably suits Hearts. It really probably suits Hearts, rather than having to go and break a team down. You know what I mean? If it had been the other way about it, it was 0-0 and Dundee have just had a man sent off, and then Hearts have got to come out and take you'd back Hearts more in the scenario that we just watched than the one that I've just described there. What about, we've kind of touched on it, but we should maybe talk about the defence, especially Jamie McCart. I thought Craig Halkett was outstanding in that second half, just superb. Colossus. But Jamie McCart deserves a special mention because first minutes of the season was during pre-season. Derek McInnes said that he thought he was the best performing centre-back he had. He got injured and then wasn't able to play since the League Cup games kicked off, and that were his first minutes of the season, out of position. Few moments where everybody on the pitch where it's sort of a bit uncomfortableness and stuff, but a really great performance again, especially that second half.
I thought, and he could understand it, that Congreve got the better of him, and a couple of times were made it difficult for himself. We made it difficult for McCart. My worry was maybe the pace of McCart and being the turning aspect of playing up against a winger, but he really grew into it, and it probably helped him in the second half, where he just had to sit deep. He didn't have to get up and support, and there was kind of protection, and then it was dealing with just balls getting crossed into the box. But
I think Dundee focused it down the left in the second half, didn't they?
Left, so he was just having to kind of defend the back post, which was perfect. And that's, I mentioned that in an instant analysis. He just gives another aerial presence there at left back, and I don't think Dan McInnes has a massive, especially see if see if the right back situation, see if Hearts hadn't signed Altena, be more worried about that. But because you've got that balance of Altena's more attacking, and then McCart, you can get away with playing on the left hand side
exactly,
there. So I've had.
Although the second half, 5 centre backs across the back.
Centre backs fine, but that's what the scenario and situation needed. And you said that Craig Halkett was unbelievable.
Yeah, there was one block especially that was just brilliant.
Yeah, that was a game made for Craig Halkett, where it's just like you just have to be in the right place at the right time in the box and head it. And his decision making, his timing, his anticipation, just out of this world.
The fans were absolutely incredible. I'll come to you for any other business in a second, but I just wanted to point out the fans before we finish up, because this stadium's perfect for it. I've seen a couple of other times when I've covered Dundee here and I've seen away and celebrate, and because you've got the corner and everybody goes out at that tunnel, it's when you get a victory here as an away crowd, it's great scenes. There's scenes at the end.
Yeah, and you've seen it all there, just with McInnes, his reaction to the crowd, and then Craig Gordon being pushed by Cammy Devlin, and just like you said, it's great because where the tunnel is, so they're having to walk that way, and it's obviously different when we seen it last season when the team lost at Dens Park and they were getting hounded off. Shut up.
We'll be done soon.
But then you seen McInnes' reaction. It was like he knew, and he said it there, he knew how big those 3 points were, and they are absolutely massive. And at half time I texted mate, it was like, if we win this, Hearts will win the league.
I didn't mean to agree there before you said that.
And then again, I did say I thought Hearts would during the second half.
But it is the kind of result and performance that Rangers and Celtic have done over the years when they've won leagues. They go down to 10 men, they still find the way to win the game. That's what teams have to do in this situation.
That's it, because you look back at the end of the season and like Livingston, in a kind of different context, but the one that won at home at Livingston, you just got over the line and just got it. Whereas this is a wee bit different. Like everyone left Livingston was like, kind of 1-0, but the second half was a real struggle. Everyone, all 4,000 Hearts fans that came up here, are just going to be absolutely bouncing out of Dens and down the road. They'll listen to the train, and I think there'll be a few that'll be getting a later train to enjoy themselves in Dundee, and I don't blame them.
Did you drive?
I drive, unfortunately. Again, I was considering a few of my mates were going up on the train. I thought, did I go off on the train? But
you'll appreciate it in this weather.
That's true. But I do think that's just another. You look at wins against Hibs or Celtic or Rangers this season, and the momentum and the feeling that they can give you. That's just as big. That's just as big as well. So it's absolutely huge, and it is. I reckon you're looking going towards the end of the season. I think this is my favourite win so far. Just with what it means and all the context around it.
Yeah, as I say, it's definitely a sign of champions, and there's a lot of satisfaction to be taken from by Hearts fans because of that. Any other business?
We haven't even touched on Schwallo's red card.
I mean, there's not really much to say. I think that I was a wee bit surprised with. He got himself in a fankle, and I think it can happen. It's like a panic situation. Got himself in a fankle, and he's fouled the guy, but he's tried to get away with fouling him, but not using his arms, and thought he could get away with it that way. And I don't know. People are saying that there's covering defenders. I don't think that argument stands up when the goalkeeper's out of action, because the guy, the striker, then has a shot into a net with a defender, and I just think that's an obvious goal scoring situation.
So it's like there's a few things to it. So I didn't appreciate that there was maybe potentially a second offside.
I'll need to see that again.
He potentially was offside when he won the flick on. Don't know if that got checked. And then obviously it was Jogain that everyone assumed was offside. McInnes was over there. He was halfway. He was almost down the tunnel, and then he's having to walk back. It's like, this is taking ages. And then again, you look at Schwallow. I think he was kind of waiting for it to come in the box, and he was indecision, so he came out the box. And then also maybe because everyone thought it was offside, he kind of went awkwardly. So it was like it was just a very weird situation. I can see the two sides of it, like watching it back and.
I'm saying mine without seeing it again.
Exactly. Yeah, so I watched it back once, kind of on a buffering video on social media, because the Wi-Fi wasn't the best. But when he gets when he gets away from Schwallow, like McCart's coming across to him as well, so I don't think he would have got a clean strike, But then I understand the point where you're thinking the goalkeeper's out of position and Craig Halkett can't use his hands, so I can
and would he have been beyond the keeper before McCart gets there? I mean, I need to see it again.
So that's it's the good thing is it doesn't really matter. That's because we've managed to get the 3 points and managed to be able to see Craig Gordon do that. So just add to his repertoire of ridiculous saves.
I know. I wasn't sure I was going to get to see Craig Gordon play again this season. Never mind see one of the best saves of his career in the flesh. Anything else you want to add? I think that's us, is it?
yeah, that's us.
Thanks to everybody for tuning in. Check everything out at heartstandard.co.uk. Give us a wee subscribe if you can. There's instant analysis from this game. There'll be plenty more going up over the weekend and next week, and we will be back sometime then.